Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast.
Hey guys, in this episode, Dan and I are going to be talking about our experiences with dropping out of high school.
Today we're going to be focusing on three questions to kind of guide us through the podcast. First question is, why did we drop out of high school? Second question is, how do we manage to bring this idea to our parents and not have them freak out? And question number three, what to consider when dropping out of high school. So I will start with the first question is why? Specific everyone has different answers why because we all live different lives. But me specifically, I hated school, and obviously that's not a very valuable, not very good,
Valid.
not valid reason to drop out of school. In my 10th grade, I had this one math course, and it was called practical math. We were learning taxes in there. I was like, wow, this is actually useful. I'm glad I'm paying attention and everything. And my grandma works in H&R, used to work in H&R, basically just taxes. And for help, I called her. I was like, "Hey, I need some help on taxes." She's like, "Okay, just send me the question and I'll help you with it." So I took a picture of the question, sent it to her, and she calls me back and she's like, "Hey, listen, we haven't used this in the past 20 years. What are you learning?" So right off the bat, I was like, something's off. Why are we learning something that we don't need? I understand like learning history and everything, but what they were using before is way worse than what they're using now. Right now they're using calculators, machines to do like to have there's no way of error. There's no room for error in today's age. So that year was weird. And then the past few years in literature, so American and British literature, I knew the literature better than the teacher because my mom made me read books, um, from American authors and British authors, and I knew my literature pretty well, and not just certain books. I knew poems. I am so sorry. I knew poems and actual books and novels that the authors have written, and basically those English classes were a waste of time. And by my last grade, 12th grade, I basically finished all the history and science courses, like the basic ones. I did not go AP, I did not go honors, nothing like that. I I did not like them. There was a lot of pressure. But yeah, that's the why for me. Basically, I didn't see any use from school. Ricky, how about now, guys? Don't get me wrong. School is important. I learned a lot from school, especially from English class. Weirdest class out of all, I understand, but English class has helped me the most. English is my second language. I excelled in English class. I am proud of myself for doing that. But English class is very important. But for me, school is important. Okay, very important. Ricky, how about you?
And we definitely want to say that I can speak for both of us when I say definitely school is important. We believe that it is important. School has been very important to me literally my entire life growing up. It was a very clear in my household that education is very valued and that we're lucky to go to school and that we need to give our full and best attention to every day, do all your work, take all your tests, score well, score high, have a good report card, bring it home to mom and dad, and do well in school basically. That was my mentality basically my entire life. I had no even single thoughts of dropping out of high school. I had no single thought of never graduating or not going to college. Like in my brain, that was just the normal steps. You get good grades, graduate high school with amazing grades, go to college, a degree, go on your path. Which is a very successful path for a lot of people. Since I've grown older, I realized that, wow, not a lot of people are successful dancers and very successful in school. It is possible. I have seen it done before, and I give the biggest props to any student or dancer out there around the world that is pursuing their educational career and college courses at a very high level, as well as still dancing at a high level competitively. Um, Basically, when I was like 14, I realized that I'm probably going to have to choose either to go to college full time or to be a full time dancer. And then by the time I was 15, my partner of 12 years and I split. And I'm living in Seattle. And in Seattle, there's very, very, very limited amount of competitive dancers here that were my age, my level, and basically somebody who could dance with me. Pretty much as soon as we split, my parents knew that I was going to have to move. The most likely options would either be New York or California, because that are the two biggest bases in the US for dancing. And it's the most likely that I would find somebody either in one of those states, or I would find somebody to move with me to one of those states. And that was kind of hard because nobody, at least in my opinion, I definitely did not see the breakup coming. I did not know I was going to be looking for a partner. I did not know that I was going to have to move. And then it happened. And then I was like, okay, let's try to find somebody to dance with. Eventually, I ended up finding a partner. We had a tryout. We decided we would dance together. He was from Canada. I was from Seattle. I didn't really want to move to Canada, and he didn't really want to move to Seattle. We both ended up really, really liking New York. We had both been there several times before. We liked it. It's pretty close to Canada. I had always wanted to be in New York. So we decided, all right, we're going to move to New York. I was still in school. This was the very, very beginning, like the first 2 months of my sophomore year, which is 10th grade. So I finished my freshman year completely fine, normal. I had done school at a high level my entire life while competing, while I'm going TV shows, while going abroad, while going on world championship trips where I'm gone for weeks at a time. I was always able to manage it. High school is a whole nother level. So I struggled my freshman year, not in grades. I still had good grades, but I struggled to basically stay sane because if you know, as a high school student, you are basically killing yourself if you're doing extracurricular activities and trying to do high level classes and be good at both at the same time. So basically, I had to move, and I didn't want to go to just a random public high school in New York. And I was also moving by myself. I wasn't going with my family. I was literally going to live with a person who I had known for 4 days. I've met them once. I danced with them, knew them for 4 days, and now we're moving in together. And my partner wasn't in school currently. So basically our options were to fully homeschool again, which I had done for many years, and I did not like it. And I thought that was my only option. Like, I genuinely thought that was my only option. And then my mom was like, why don't you get your GED? And I didn't even know what that was. Like, I literally had never heard of it before, never considered it, wasn't even my idea. But then after I kind of learned more about that, we decided to go on that path. So that is the reason why I decided to stop going to high school, because I had done so many different forms of education before. It's a very dedicated student. Education is very important to me. But at that time, I did not see myself going to school full time as a public high school student in New York, somewhere I've been just like once or twice in my life completely by myself, while trying to pursue an incredibly high level competitive career with somebody that I just met 4 days ago. Like, it was a big situation. So that's the why I decided to not finish high school the traditional way that I was planning on it.
So yeah, see, guys, it's very different completely two different ideas of why. For the how, my how is going to be very different from Ricky's as well, because Ricky, as she said just earlier, her mom proposed her the idea. For me, it was the other way around. I proposed my parents the idea. I gathered up all the facts. I've told them all the whys that I told you guys, and basically, I had this week-long conversation. So we would have this conversation throughout the week a few times. They would think about it. Um, and the GED is very important because I have to get my GED in order to drop out. So, after a long time of convincing, I did drop out. I personally thought that after dropping out, I'll have all this time. I can focus on the podcast. I can dance more and everything. I was wrong. I have genuinely never been so wrong in my life. Wow, it was embarrassing how wrong I was. I am way busier now, just in general, but that's not the how. The how is just talking to your parents calmly without any arguing from your side. They can argue all they want, their parents. They always do that. From your side, no arguing. Because if you argue, your chances lower so quickly. But basically, yes. And again, everyone's different. This is how I told my parents I need to drop out, and they agreed with me. Not my whole family did not agree. For example, my grandparents didn't agree with that, but I'm glad my parents agreed and they let me drop out. I think it's a very good decision that I made. I don't regret it one bit. And Ricky, you said your mom proposed you the idea, correct?
Yeah, I had never heard of a GED before. The way she explained it to me was like basically it's an alternative to a high school diploma. And her thinking was that okay, I there's some sort of statistic, I'm not sure if this is right, but it's like over 90% of colleges and universities in the United States accept
I think so.
your GED as a high school diploma equivalent. That's what they would call it. So you have your SAT or your ACT results, you have some sort of transcript, if you have your GED, blah, blah, blah. If you so choose, you can still apply to many, many, many colleges and universities. You will still have all these options open to you. Even if you don't traditionally finish the last 3 years of high school, get your diploma, your high school diploma, and then apply to colleges with all of that. So basically, that was her line of thinking. Obviously, when we had to go to my school and be like, hey, GED, they were not very fond of the idea.
Yes, yes.
They,
Same with my school.
but basically, since I was just turned 16, um, technically, if you're under the age of 18, you're not even supposed to take the GED. I didn't know this. Basically, how the rest of the world sees the GED and how other people had explained it to me, not my mom, is that GED is for high school dropouts who are just decided to drop out of high school. And then later in life, they decided, like, for like older people, like over 18 to even 30 years old adults, deciding that they want to pursue either a college career or they just want their GED for maybe a job application or something. And they actually go back, they study for their GED and they take it. It is not designed for students under the age of 18 who are supposed to be in high school. So enable, what enable? In order for me to be able to take this, I had to talk to my counselor. I had to basically have either some sort of emergency reason or valid reason of why I cannot attend high school. And basically, my reason is that I was moving solo across the entire country and was going to be dancing full time from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. pretty much every day, which, to be honest, that is pretty much what I did. And the way that I explain is that I was basically in like dance college at that point. Wake up, dance, eat, dance, go back to the studio, dance, go home, eat, sleep. It was like that every single day, traveling lessons, group classes, seminars, practices, rounds, all day, every day. So it's not like I just dropped out of high school and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch Netflix. Like literally my parents would never.
Exactly.
So basically when we explained it to them, like I'm moving across the country by myself, I'm not gonna be able to do that and I'm gonna be fully committed to dance. They were like, okay, you have to go to this building, you have to get their permission. So I had to go to a different school district building. I had to get their permission. I had to explain everything to them. Then I had to go to like the district president and I had to go to their office, make an appointment, explain me everything. Like I had to get approval at many different levels. After I got the approval and they're like, is your parent or guardian okay with this? Because obviously they think that kids are like trying to do this on their own. Like my mom was there with me. She's like,
Yes.
yes, I'm supporting her in this decision, blah, blah, blah. After we got all the approval, technically you're not allowed to take the GED while you're enrolled in high school.
Yes.
So they had to
Correct.
unenroll me. And then within 2 weeks, I made my appointment to take the GED. And thankfully, since I was just freshly out of school, I did some GED prep courses, just did some studying. I made all the appointments for my tests because there are 4 different tests that you have to take. Went, passed all of them. They gave me my GED certificate. And about a week later, I moved to New York. Um, so yeah, that's how I did it.
I would say it has changed. You have to be 16 or up to take the GED.
Okay.
Um, and because of that, you have to go through less steps to get the approval. All you gotta do is have a letter from the school saying that you did drop out, that you did actually go to school, and a coda letter from, I think it's some sort of community, like career college or something like that. Counselor, I meant, not college, counselor. And yeah, that's basic. I think that's basically all you need to take the GED. You submit all the information, you can register online, and you take it.
It
I
also
mean,
could be different, like in different states
yes.
as well. Like I have
Okay.
no idea the rules for other
True.
states.
I didn't think about
Um,
that. Yes.
but yeah, it definitely
Um,
also could change pretty easily from when I did it because I had just turned 16, which means I took it in 2016 and now it's 2021. So like over the course of 5 years, definitely a lot can change. So
yes. So, guys, you've reached the end of the episode. This is the end of part one. Part two will be up later. If you guys are still watching, still listening, you're amazing. We love you. And we will see you guys next time. Bye bye.